After Joshua and the elders who had seen the miracles of the Lord passed away, a new generation rose in Israel, a generation that did not fully remember what God had done for them. They forgot the parted waters. They forgot the falling walls. They forgot the covenant. And when people forget God, trouble is never far behind. The Israelites began doing what was right in their own eyes. They turned away from the Lord, and soon the protection they once enjoyed was gone. Into that weakness stepped a powerful enemy, King Jabin of Canaan. He ruled from the city of Hazor, and his army was fierce. But even more terrifying than the king was his commander, Sisera. Sisera commanded 900 iron chariots. In those days, iron chariots were the most advanced weapons in the world. They thundered across battlefields like unstoppable storms. Against them, Israel's farmers and shepherds stood little chance. For 20 long years, the people suffered under harsh oppression. 20 years of fear. 20 years of crying out. 20 years of waiting. And when their suffering became too heavy to bear, they finally cried out to the Lord. And the Lord answered. But this time, God did something unexpected. He did not raise up a mighty warrior from the tribes. He did not send a king with a sword. He raised up a woman. Her name was Deborah. Deborah was a prophetess, someone who heard from God and spoke his truth. She was also a judge in Israel. Not a judge like we imagine in a courtroom, but a leader who settled disputes and guided the people according to God's wisdom. She would sit beneath a palm tree in the hill country of Ephraim. The people would come from far and wide to seek her counsel. She listened. She prayed. She spoke with clarity and courage. And the people respected her. One day, the word of the Lord came to Deborah with urgency. She sent for a man named Barak, a capable warrior from the tribe of Naphtali. When Barak arrived, Deborah spoke boldly. The Lord, the God of Israel, commands you, go, gather 10,000 men from Naphtali and Zebulun. Lead them to Mount Tabor. I will draw Sisera and his chariots to the Kishon River, and I will give him into your hands. It was not Deborah's idea. It was God's command. Barak listened, but fear crept into his heart. 900 iron chariots. The memory of defeat. The weight of responsibility. He looked at Deborah and said, if you go with me, I will go. But if you do not go with me, I will not go. It was both a confession of fear and a recognition of her faith. Deborah did not hesitate. I will surely go with you, she said. But because of the way you are going about this, the honor will not be yours. The Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman. Barak agreed. And so they gathered the army. 10,000 men climbed Mount Tabor, looking down over the valley below. In the distance, the enemy forces assembled. Sisera's iron chariots lined the plain like rows of steel thunder. The ground trembled as they advanced. The sky grew heavy. And then, something happened that no one expected. The Lord intervened. A fierce storm broke over the valley. Rain poured down, turning the dry riverbed of the Kishon into a rushing flood. The ground became thick mud. The mighty iron chariots, so powerful on firm soil, began to sink. The wheels stuck. The horses struggled. Panic spread through the ranks. At that moment, Deborah gave the command. Go. This is the day the Lord has given Sisera into your hands. Barak and his men charged down the mountain. What once looked like certain defeat turned into overwhelming victory. The enemy scattered. The once feared army collapsed in confusion. Sisera himself abandoned his chariot and fled on foot. The mighty commander, running. He ran until he reached the tent of a woman named Jael. She welcomed him in and offered him shelter. Exhausted and desperate, Sisera lay down to rest. But just as Deborah had prophesied, the final blow would come through a woman. Jael acted with courage and decisiveness, and Sisera's reign of terror ended that day. When Barak arrived in pursuit, Jael showed him what had happened. The enemy was defeated. Israel was free. The land had peace for 40 years. But Deborah did not celebrate with pride. She celebrated with praise. In Judges chapter 5, we read the Song of Deborah, a powerful hymn of victory. She sang of willing hearts. She sang of courage rising in dark times. She sang of the Lord marching before his people. Her song declared that when leaders lead with faith and people respond with obedience, God brings deliverance. Deborah's story reminds us of something profound. God does not measure leadership the way the world does. He does not ask for the loudest voice. He does not require the strongest sword. He does not limit himself to tradition or expectation. He looks for hearts that listen. In a time when Israel was afraid, Deborah was faithful. In a season of oppression, she was obedient. When others hesitated, she trusted. And because she trusted, a nation found freedom. The story of Deborah is not just about a battle. It is about courage rooted in faith. It is about wisdom guided by God. It is about unexpected leadership that changes history. And it reminds us that when storms come and iron chariots seem unstoppable, the Lord still fights for his people. Victory does not belong to the strongest army. It belongs to the Lord. And sometimes, he chooses the most unexpected person to lead the way. If this story inspired you today, remember this. God does not look for the strongest or the loudest. He looks for willing hearts. Just like Deborah, you can lead with wisdom. You can stand for what is right. And you can trust God even when others are afraid. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs courage today. Until next time, stay brave, stay faithful, and keep walking in God's promises.